Welcome to Tribute to Stars. I'm Brandon. This channel is a place to honor unforgettable lives that brought joy, talent, and inspiration to the world. Here we remember beloved figures from film, music, television, and culture, reflecting on their journey, their influence, and the memories they left behind. Every tribute helps keep their legacy shining for generations to come. Dolores Keane passed away peacefully at her home in Ireland at the age of 72. She was widely regarded as one of the defining voices of Irish folk music, and her influence stretched far beyond her recordings. As a founding member of Danann, she helped bring traditional Irish songs to a wider audience, giving them new emotional depth and keeping them alive for future generations. Her interpretation of songs such as The Rambling Irishman stood out for its warmth and sincerity, carrying a sense of lived experience that resonated deeply with listeners. Her voice was often described as rich, haunting, and deeply human, with a rare ability to turn simple melodies into powerful emotional stories. Beyond her work with the band, she also performed alongside respected artists, including John Prine and Emmylou Harris, further highlighting her reach across folk and roots music traditions. Each collaboration reflected her natural musical sensitivity and respect for storytelling through song. More than just a singer, Dolores Keane was seen as a keeper of tradition, someone who brought Irish heritage to life through her performances. Her music continues to feel intimate and grounding, like a familiar voice carrying memories across time. Her legacy remains firmly rooted in the heart of Irish cultural and musical history. Hasan Yalnizoglu was born in Üsküdar, a historic district of Istanbul, and grew up with a strong early interest in movement, sport, and physical discipline. From a young age, he was drawn to active pursuits rather than a single fixed direction, exploring different athletic fields with natural curiosity. By the time he was 6, he was already spending time in gym environments where he began building coordination, discipline, and a foundation for physical training. Alongside this, football became one of his early passions, and like many children, he approached it with enthusiasm and a sense of determination. As he grew older, swimming also became an area where he showed ability and commitment, further strengthening his athletic development. However, changes in his family's living situation led to a move that limited his access to structured training facilities. This shift meant he had to step away from gymnastics and swimming for a period, despite his interests and involvement in both. Even with these interruptions, he continued his education and completed his secondary schooling in Pendik. These early experiences across different sports and environments played an important role in shaping his later path, contributing to his versatility and physical awareness. As noted, there is no confirmed public information indicating his passing. John Gierach spent much of his life turning quiet days on rivers and streams into stories that deeply resonated with anglers and readers who appreciated nature's slower rhythms. Born on November 24, 1946 in Chicago Heights, Illinois, he grew up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area before studying philosophy and English at the University of Findlay. In 1969, he settled near Lyons, Colorado, a landscape of mountains and clear water that would become central to his writing and outlook on life. Over time, he became one of the most influential voices in outdoor literature, especially through his essays and books about fly fishing, friendship, and the small details of time spent outdoors. His well-known book, Trout Bum, helped popularize the phrase trout bum and earned him a devoted readership that appreciated his relaxed, thoughtful style and dry humor. Beyond fishing, he also explored poetry and everyday observations, often finding meaning in simple, ordinary moments. His personal papers, including manuscripts and journals, are preserved at Montana State University, reflecting his lasting importance in American outdoor writing. He passed away in Longmont, Colorado at the age of 77, leaving behind a body of work that continues to inspire readers who find comfort and meaning in nature. John Michael Gaudreau, known to fans as Johnny Hockey, was widely admired as one of the most dynamic and creative players of his era. Born on August 13, 1993, he defied early doubts about his smaller stature and developed into a standout athlete through skill, determination, and sharp on-ice intelligence. His college career at Boston College with the Eagles was especially remarkable, culminating in winning the Hobey Baker Award in 2014 as the top player in U.S. college hockey. That success launched him into the NHL, where he built a strong professional career first with the Calgary Flames and later with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Over the years, Gaudreau became a 7-time NHL All-Star, earning recognition for his quick skating, imaginative playmaking, and consistent sportsmanship, including the Lady Byng Memorial Trophy in 2017. Beyond his achievements, he inspired many young athletes who were told they might be too small for professional hockey, proving that talent and effort can overcome physical expectations. Gaudreau's life was tragically cut short at the age of 31 in a sudden traffic incident while he was riding a bicycle with his brother. His passing deeply affected the hockey community, and he continues to be remembered not only for his extraordinary talent on the ice, but also for his humility, kindness, and love for the sport. Josh Morrow was a disciplined and dependable football player whose journey reflected persistence and quiet determination. Born on November 8, 1990 in St. Albans, England, he moved to the United States at a young age and grew up in Texas, where he quickly developed a passion for football. At L.D. Bell High School, he stood out as a strong defensive talent, known for his tackling ability and consistent effort on the field. His performance earned him an opportunity to play at Stanford University, where he continued to grow as both an athlete and an individual, earning respect for his work ethic, strength in defense, and team-first mindset. After graduating in 2013, he pursued his goal of reaching the NFL, going undrafted in 2014 but continuing to fight for his place in professional football. Over the following years, he spent time with several teams, including the Arizona Cardinals and other NFL organizations, building a career as a reliable defensive lineman who contributed through consistency rather than spotlight moments. Across his career, he was valued for his discipline, readiness, and professionalism on and off the field. Outside of football, he was known for his strong family values and deep faith, with those close to him describing him as caring and grounded. He passed away at the age of 35 on April 23, 2026. The exact cause of death has not been publicly confirmed, and his family has requested privacy during this time. His passing has left teammates, fans, and the football community reflecting on his life, career, and the quiet impact he made throughout his journey. Jay Leno was born into a working-class family in New Rochelle, New York in 1950, where stability mattered more than comfort and routine mattered more than luxury. His father worked in insurance, steady but often absent in emotional presence, while his mother, an immigrant from Scotland, provided warmth and discipline in equal measure. Life at home was not dramatic in a cinematic sense, but it was shaped by modest means and a constant expectation to endure rather than complain. When the family moved to Massachusetts, childhood became more challenging, not because of hardship alone, but because of how different he felt in structured academic environments. School did not come naturally to him, and early evaluations revealed learning difficulties that would later be understood as dyslexia. What others processed easily required intense concentration from him, turning reading and writing into daily obstacles rather than routine tasks. Teachers often misinterpreted his struggle as lack of effort, reinforcing a quiet sense of isolation. Yet within this environment, he developed an early resilience. Instead of retreating, he observed, adapted, and began forming a personality shaped by awareness of audience response. Even before understanding comedy as a craft, he learned that attention could be gained through timing, tone, and expression. These early experiences did not define him in a fixed way, but they created a foundation where perseverance became instinct rather than choice, setting the stage for a life built on persistence in the face of constant evaluation. Struggles with learning and the birth of humor. As survival. During his school years, academic difficulty was not simply an inconvenience, but a daily emotional weight. Reading aloud, completing assignments, and keeping pace with classmates often placed him in situations where embarrassment felt unavoidable. Instead of withdrawing, he gradually discovered that humor created small openings in otherwise difficult environments. A well-timed joke or imitation could shift attention away from his struggles, if only temporarily. What began as spontaneous reactions soon became a coping mechanism, allowing him to reframe uncomfortable moments into shared laughter. Humor was not initially about ambition or performance, it was about relief. It allowed him to control perception in environments where he otherwise felt powerless. This adaptive response became increasingly refined as he grew older, shaping how he interacted socially. While other students built confidence through academic success or athletics, he developed confidence through observation and reaction. He learned to read emotional cues, detect tension, and respond in ways that softened it. These skills, developed unconsciously, would later form the core of his comedic identity. Yet beneath the humor remained a persistent awareness of struggle. The laughter he generated in others contrasted with his internal effort to keep up, creating a duality that defined much of his early emotional landscape. Humor became both shield and bridge, protecting him from judgment while also connecting him to those around him. Early adulthood, work ethic, and the struggle for stability. After finishing high school, he entered a period of life defined by uncertainty and relentless effort. College offered structure, but financial limitations meant he constantly balanced education with work. He attended Emerson College in Boston, where he studied speech-related subjects, yet his true education occurred outside classrooms. He worked a variety of jobs, including manual labor and service positions, each contributing to his understanding of persistence. Nights were often spent performing stand-up in small clubs where audiences were unpredictable and success was never guaranteed. Boston's comedy scene in the 1970s was unforgiving, demanding resilience from anyone hoping to survive within it. He frequently traveled between venues, sometimes performing to small or indifferent crowds, other times facing complete silence. These experiences were not glamorous, but they were formative. He learned how to refine material quickly, adapt to audience energy, and endure rejection without losing momentum. Financial instability was a constant reality, and there were periods where basic comfort was secondary to pursuing stage time. Despite exhaustion, he continued performing, driven by an internal conviction that improvement required repetition. This phase of life built discipline rather than recognition. It was not success that defined him at this stage, but persistence under conditions where success often felt distant and uncertain. Breakthrough moments and entry into national television. His persistence eventually led to opportunities in larger comedy circuits, where exposure increased and industry attention slowly followed. A pivotal moment came when he appeared on The Tonight Show, then hosted by Johnny Carson, whose influence in late-night television was unmatched. The appearance was not immediately transformative, but it marked a shift in visibility. Carson's approval carried significant weight in the entertainment industry, and positive reception opened doors that had previously been closed. Over time, he became a frequent guest and occasional substitute host, gradually building trust within the network. This progression was not sudden but incremental, reflecting years of preparation meeting opportunity. Each appearance required precision, as national television left little room for inconsistency. He approached these moments with caution and discipline, aware that reputation in this space could change quickly. His comedic style, grounded in observational humor and reliability, contrasted with more experimental performers of the time, making him a steady presence in a changing industry. By the mid-1980s, he had established himself as a recognizable figure in late-night entertainment. The transition from club performer to national television personality represented not just career advancement, but validation of years spent refining his craft under difficult and uncertain conditions. Rise as host and the weight of constant expectation. When he eventually assumed full hosting responsibilities on The Tonight Show, the position carried immense cultural significance. It was not simply a job, but an institution with decades of legacy behind it. Taking over from Johnny Carson meant inheriting both an audience and an expectation of continuity. The role required consistency, adaptability, and the ability to connect with millions of viewers nightly. Under his tenure, the show maintained strong ratings and became a central fixture in American households. However, the visibility of the role also brought constant scrutiny. Every monologue, interview, and comedic segment was analyzed by critics and audiences alike. The pressure was not only to perform, but to sustain performance over years without significant decline. Despite this, he developed a reputation for reliability and discipline. His work ethic became a defining trait, as he rarely missed tapings and often arrived early to prepare material. Behind the scenes, the demands of late-night television were intense, requiring continuous writing and adaptation to current events. While the public saw a polished and confident host, the reality included long hours, creative pressure, and the responsibility of maintaining relevance in a rapidly evolving media landscape. Industry conflict and the late-night transition era. As television evolved, competition within late-night programming intensified, leading to one of the most publicized transitions in entertainment history. Plans for succession within The Tonight Show created tension across networks and audiences, particularly involving figures such as Conan O'Brien. The situation became highly visible, with media coverage amplifying perceived rivalry and industry decision-making. He found himself at the center of a narrative that extended beyond his control, shaped as much by network strategy as public interpretation. Despite criticism and controversy, he maintained a professional stance, continuing to perform and fulfill contractual obligations. The period was marked by uncertainty, shifting schedules, and public debate about legacy and fairness in entertainment transitions. For those involved, the situation was complex rather than purely adversarial, shaped by business decisions and changing audience demographics. Eventually, adjustments were made and roles shifted again within the late-night structure. Throughout this period, he remained consistent in approach, avoiding public confrontation and focusing on work rather than commentary. The experience highlighted the fragile balance between personal career paths and institutional decisions in large-scale media environments. Return to stand-up and reinvention beyond television. After stepping away from full-time hosting duties, he returned more actively to stand-up comedy, a space where his career had originally begun. Unlike television, stand-up offered direct audience interaction without institutional structure. This return was not a decline but a continuation of performance on a different scale. Touring allowed him to reconnect with live audiences and maintain creative engagement outside broadcast constraints. He performed regularly across the United States, often in smaller venues that emphasized immediacy over production. This phase demonstrated adaptability as he shifted from nationally broadcast television to more intimate comedic environments. Stand-up also provided creative freedom, allowing material to evolve without network oversight. The transition highlighted a consistent pattern in his career, movement between platforms rather than dependence on a single role. Even after decades in television, he remained committed to live performance, treating it as a foundational element of his identity as a comedian. This period reinforced the idea that longevity in entertainment often depends on flexibility, not permanence in one position. Accidents, health challenges, and public vulnerability. In later years, he experienced several widely reported accidents that brought attention to the physical risks of his hobbies and lifestyle. These incidents included injuries sustained while working with vehicles and motorcycles, reflecting his long-standing interest in mechanical engineering and machinery. One particularly serious incident involved a garage fire, which resulted in significant injuries and required medical treatment and recovery time. These events introduced a new dimension to public perception, shifting focus from career achievements to personal vulnerability. Recovery periods required patience and rehabilitation, demonstrating resilience in a different form than earlier career struggles. While such incidents were widely covered in media, they did not define his identity but added complexity to it. They revealed the unpredictability of physical risk, even for individuals long accustomed to high-pressure professional environments. Despite injuries, he returned to activity after recovery, continuing both public appearances and personal projects. These experiences underscored the reality that resilience is not limited to career endurance, but also includes physical recovery and adaptation to unforeseen circumstances. Legacy of discipline, work ethic, and public presence over decades, his career has been shaped less by singular moments of fame and more by sustained discipline. His reputation in entertainment is built on consistency, reliability, and an unusually strong work ethic. Unlike many performers whose careers fluctuate, his presence remained steady across changing eras of television and comedy. He is often recognized not only for hosting, but for maintaining relevance across generational shifts in audience expectations. His approach to work emphasizes preparation and repetition, reflecting habits formed in early struggles. Beyond entertainment, he has also been associated with philanthropy and support for various causes, though he has generally maintained a private approach to personal contributions. His legacy is not defined solely by awards or titles, but by longevity in a highly competitive industry. The ability to remain active and respected over decades reflects both adaptability and endurance. In many ways, his career represents a model of sustained, professional commitment rather than sudden transformation or dramatic reinvention. Conclusion of a life built on persistence rather than ease. The story of Jay Leno is ultimately not one of extraordinary reversal or dramatic downfall, but of continuous persistence through changing circumstances. From early educational struggles to national television success, from industry controversies to physical injuries later in life, his journey reflects adaptation rather than interruption. Each phase of his life builds upon the previous one, forming a long arc defined by consistency. Fame did not eliminate struggle, nor did success remove uncertainty, but both were navigated with a steady approach grounded in discipline. His career demonstrates that longevity in entertainment is often the result of routine effort rather than singular breakthroughs. Even as the industry evolved around him, he maintained a focus on performance and audience connection. In the broader sense, his life illustrates how resilience can take many forms: emotional, professional, and physical. What remains consistent is a commitment to showing up, performing, and continuing forward regardless of circumstance. The full, enduring, that carry us through.